Means we're gonna play some arena. Um, I've done a mage run recently, and I'd like to play that. We're gonna do something that I don't have a video series up for yet. So that leaves priest or druid, and I've got a quest for druid, so we're gonna play that today. This one's got a nice versatile hero power because it's like it gives you armor and attack, so you can use it to stay alive if you need to. This is a nice way to start. Our commander's just a sweet card. Druids do not have secrets, so Illuminator is pretty bad for us. And Sun Fury Protector could be nice with some of the big cards that are available to this class, but this guy's pretty nuts just because he gets to hit immediately, and he survives. Usually he survives the turn that you play him because like you'd have to deal damage to him with your own thing. So we're pretty happy with that. Let's see, Fossilized Devil Sore is not very good. This is like just worse than Ironbark Protector because that's the same thing as a class card, but it always has taunt. So an 8/8 for 8. That's just worse than class common we can get is not really what we want to do here. Undertaker sucks because you'd have to build around it. So we're going to be happy with Stormwind Champion here. And let's see, Healing Touch is pretty bad. This doesn't affect the board at all. Restoring 8 health is going to let you like heal one of your minions back up to full health pretty much all the time, but it doesn't like impact the game most of the time, so it's not really worth considering. And we could probably do better than Core Hound. This is just kind of expensive and it dies easily. So we're going to take Blackwing Corruptor. Without a dragon, this is kind of an overcosted card, but if you do have a dragon, it's pretty crazy. So we're going to keep an eye out for those, and we're going to maybe prioritize taking dragons a little more than we normally would. Explosive Sheep is probably not something that we want to do because we want to be able to like play guys early that are going to stick around and affect the board. So Explosive Sheep kind of goes against that sort of plan that you usually want to follow in Arena. Novice Engineer is fine but unexciting. Since it draws you a card, you get a 1/1 for 2 mana, which does not take a card out of your hand. So this is like when you play it, it's kind of like you use a Paladin power that turn. But I think we can do better than something that just simulates a hero power. So we're going to go with the Dark Scale Healer. Gives us some life back, and it's a solid body. Let's see here. These guys are all pretty big. We're going to take the Ventrico Mercenary because he's got +2 toughness on this Salty Dog. And the drawback of your minions costing an extra 3 is not going to be so bad usually because we have a 7/6 out. So it's like, if this dies, then they don't cost an extra 3 anymore. And if it lives, then, well, we've got a 7 power guy. Wind Fury Harpy is not really worth considering because we're usually not going to get 2 hits in with this thing. It's going to die the turn out. They're going to kill it as soon as we play it. So we'll take the Venture Code here. We've got pretty expensive cards so far, so we do need to fill out the early parts of our curve, and Scarlet Crusader's excellent for that. Stormpike Commando is passable, but not very exciting as a 5. So Scarlet Crusaders are really pretty sweet 3-drop because they have to hit it twice, so it's usually going to get a hit in. We're happy to have that card. Let's see here. We don't want to take the 1-drop because he doesn't do very much. Bluegill Warrior is also a 2/1, but the charge on this is a pretty big deal because you get to use it immediately. So this is kind of like a 2 damage burn spell almost. So our choice is between the 2 damage burn spell or a Mounted Raptor. This guy is a 3-drop, and he leaves behind a 1-cost minion when he dies. He's also a beast, which is relevant sometimes, although it's more relevant in Hunter. We're going to take him because he trades well and he leaves something behind when he dies, so that maybe you can trade again with that. Or at least like use the least the 1-cost minion will do a lot of the time is just soak up an opponent's hero power use. So we'll be okay with that. Here we could take this Innervate. That might be good for us because we do have some pretty expensive stuff so far. Although it's not a card that I like very much. It is pretty powerful. It's just not really my style of thing that I want to do. I don't like using up a card from the hand on this kind of effect. We've also got Unstable Ghoul or Volcanic Drake that we can take. I'm thinking we'll take the Drake because it is... None of these cards are super powerful on their own. They all need like a little bit of help from other cards to be very good. The Drake is a dragon for our Blackwing Corruptor, and I would like to try to pick up a few dragons. So this is a passable creature, and neither one of these other ones are super exciting. So we'll go ahead and just have that here. And these are some nice cards. We've got a 4-drop Yeti or a 3-drop Harvest Golem that we can take. I think that we'll go with the Yeti because actually Living Roots is decent also. These are all actually pretty good cards. I think we're going to go with the Yeti because we don't have any 4-drops yet. We've already got a couple 3s. This is nice that it leaves a body behind though, but Yeti's just a really good rate for a creature. And I think that we don't really need the Living Roots. The 2/1/1s on the first turn are not that exciting because they're easy to kill. We've got some epics here. We could take a Fell Reaver, Dark Whispers, or Faceless Manipulator. Dark Whispers is probably not the kind of thing that we want. Our cards are already expensive, so we're not going to pump a card up with it. And it's pretty expensive as a pump spell anyway. Like 6 mana is going to take up your whole turn. Faceless Manipulator just comes out like as an exact copy of whatever the other thing is, so I could see that being good. We do have some nice stuff to copy, like copying a Stormwind Champion would be pretty good. Copying an Argent Commander would be pretty good, especially if we can get a copy of it while it still has the Divine Shield. We probably wouldn't get a copy with the shield, but having a second 4/2 haste is probably a pretty nice thing. I guess we don't have... Those are the only ones that are really very exciting to copy. I think we'll go ahead and take the Fell Reaver. This guy is huge, and he does put you in a position of needing to kill your opponent fast, because every card they play removes 3 cards from your deck. If you kill them before you run out of cards, that doesn't matter. But if the game goes long after they've milled 9 cards or so, then you are probably going to be in trouble because you will run out of cards fast. So you play the Fell Reaver and you beat down with it. It's good for that. We need to get the early game here, and none of these things really help us with that. We don't have weapons in this class, so this is a Druid is a class that doesn't have secrets and doesn't have weapons, so the Dread Corsair's ability doesn't do a whole lot for us. Soul of the Forest is pretty bad because all our guys are expensive, so we don't really care about... We don't want to spend 4 mana to make our 7/6 die into a 2/2. It's not going to do much for this deck because our things are pricey already. So we're going to take Tournament Medic. This might help keep us alive a while. It's not exciting, but the other 2 cards are just so bad. I think Sinjin's Shieldmaster is a better card than Haunted Creeper, and I would like to have it in the deck, but we need the early game, so we're going to take the 2-drop here. These are both pretty good, and this guy's kind of nuts, but we need the early game, so we're going to take the Creeper. They're both fine cards. And here again, continuing with our... This is not a great early game card, but we're going to take the Silverhand Recruit over Silverhand Knight. Silverhand Regent over Silverhand Knight. Because this comes out earlier, we will probably a lot of times play this on turn 3 or coin it out on turn 2. And just hope it doesn't die. Because this is a little worse. If you look at these both as 5 mana cards, this one is 4 power for 5 mana, because you use your power and you get a 1/1. So this is 4 power for 5 mana, and this is 6 power for 5 mana, but the versatility of the lower cost on this is the reason we're drafting it. And if it sticks around, maybe you do get more than 1 token out of it, in which case it becomes pretty good. So again, even though we don't really have the early game, we're still going to probably avoid this Explosive Sheep. I mean, we could take it, but I don't really think this is something we want. At a lot of the time, if we play this early, it's just going to trade with one creature of the opponent's, or we're going to have to take a bunch of damage by not playing anything and letting them develop their board and then playing this. So it's pretty weak, and we can't even kill it on our own because we'd have to use... Our hero power only lets us attack something, and we can't attack our own creature. So it's just not... Even though we are looking at a slower deck here, it's not really the kind of thing we want to do. So we've got another expensive card, or we've got Living Roots, and this guy is pretty nice, but I think we need to take the early game card here. We're just we've got a really weak early game right now, so I would like to have this in the deck, but we've got a lot of things that have similar effects to this, so we'll take the Living Roots. Here we'll take the Tomb Spider, I think. Wolf Rider is not going to do that much for us because we don't really want to play it on turn 3. We've already got a lot of 5 and 6 mana cards, so this guy's not giving us much extra. So Tomb Spider's a good mid to late game card. We'll be happy with the card advantage from that because Druid doesn't naturally give itself card advantage. We're not going to take the 1/7 here, so our choices are the Stormwind Champion or the Jungle Panther. And I know we are trying to get earlier game stuff. The Jungle Panther is good because its stealth lets it pretty much always kill something, but I actually am going to take the Stormwind Champion here just because it's a very powerful effect. Like, putting this out when we already have any kind of a board is going to make our trades a lot better because everything gets bigger. So having a second one of those is going to be fine, I think. Here we'll go with the Raven Idol. This gives us a lot of versatility. We'll probably be discovering a minion a lot with this, but I think we're going to be pretty happy to play this card on turn 1. And Iron for Grizzly is, it's fine. It's pretty average as a 3-drop, and it's not very exciting. So this is going to give us, options, and it's a fine card to top deck late in the game because we can, you get to discover something. So you choose the card that you need the most. I don't think we want Mana Wraith, even though it's cheap. Although we can play it and, try to get it killed by something. But, I think that it's going to be pretty bad for us if this sticks around because our cards are already expensive. We don't want to make them cost even more. And I don't think Ancient Shade is something we want because our deck is going to go to the long game, which is going to give us more chances to draw the curse. So we'll take Keyzen Mystic. Not terribly exciting because most of the secrets are not very powerful. Like, the Paladin secrets are all pretty bad. And the Mage ones can be good, but they're pretty conditional. But the other ones are just not something that's going to work for our deck, so we'll go with that. This is definitely, it can be played early, but I don't think the Murloc is the kind of thing we like. These cards actually all suck. I actually don't want any of these. So which one of these is the least bad? Like, how bad is it just to take that Murloc? I think taking the Murloc's pretty inexcusable. And I think the Sentinel isn't really the kind of thing we want. So I suppose that means we're stuck with the Thrallmar Farseer. He is not a very good 3-drop, but that's the one we have here. This pick is definitely Savage Combatant. Bomb Lobber is a pretty sick card. Coming in and dealing 4 to a minion while adding a 3/3 to your board is a pretty big deal. But Savage Combatant is very similar. You can think of this as a 6-mana version of this thing. And you just maybe swap some numbers around. Since you get +2 attack, this is going to come into play, and you're going to Inspire the turn you play it, hopefully, and get to do 3 to a minion, but you get to choose what that's going to be. And this guy's pretty big on its own, too, so he's just a pretty insane card. Both of these are very nice, though. I would much rather have, a Bomb Lobber than that last pick we got to make. I think this pick is probably Keeper of the Grove. Knight of the Wild is, not very exciting. I suppose you could build a constructed deck around this, but we don't have enough beasts for that to get a discount on this, really. So Keeper of the Grove is versatile. It lets you remove a minion by dealing 2 to it, or you can silence one. And Grove Tender is cheaper. It does ramp you, so the turn you play this, you get 1 mana immediately. You give both players 1 mana, or draw a card, but you're usually going to get the mana if you're playing it on turn 3. So we can go to, from turn 3 to turn 5, and we can play, I don't know, like a Fell Reaver the turn after this. But I think we want the versatility of the Keeper of the Grove instead of something that's not going to create a big effect for us. Here we're just going to take the Silverhand Knight. We can't really play either of these other cards. I think the second Raven Idol is also okay because we don't have a lot of early games, so we're going to be leaning on these a lot to play this on turn 1 and discover a minion that we can play on the second or third turn. The Shieldmaster, again, would be nice, but we've got a lot of stuff already for 4 mana. And we're pretty happy with a Stalker here. We're just taking this because it's a 2-drop. These guys don't really do anything for us anyway. So it is also just the best card there in addition to being the best for our curve. Here we're going to take a 2-drop again because these aren't really the kind of thing we're looking for. Third Stormwind Champion might be more than we need of those, although it would be nice to have them. I was hoping to pick up another dragon, but we do have some more picks for that. We don't want the Geomancer. This guy kind of sucks. I don't think we want a third Stormwind Champion, so we're going to go with the Tomb Spider because it gives us card advantage. Here we're going to take Mark of the Wild. It's just a pump spell for your minion, and these other cards are pretty bad for us. Young Dragonhawk having only 1 toughness makes it one of the worst, all the Wind Fury cards are pretty bad. But this guy is extremely bad because 1 toughness means he just dies to a lot of the hero powers. Mark of the Wild is, it's fine. It's usually you're gonna play it and then kill one of their things with your pumped up creature. I don't think any of these are good. Do we even have any mechs? We might discover a mech with Raven Idol, but I don't think that's something we can really expect to do. We've got Fel Reaver. I think that's our only mech. Yeah. So Fel Reaver is the only thing that could work with this, and yeah, all of these pretty much suck. We've had some bad picks in this run. Well, we might be able to discover one. We'll take the Gorilla Bot. I don't really want the Bodyguard here, so we'll go with this guy. We didn't have a lot of good options there, and I guess now we could take another Gorilla Bot just to. I don't know. I did say we might take another mech. Bomb Lobber is Med Bomber is probably a better pick. We've got 1, 2, 3. We've got 3 2-drops already, and I guess we've got the Living Roots and the Raven Idol, so we'll have a 2-drop a lot of the time. You know what? I'm actually going to take the mech. Maybe we can pick up. Maybe we'll be lucky and pick up another mech here. And we don't, but these two will complement each other. Like sometimes we'll just get the extra mech from having both of these. Here we're going to take the Darnassus Aspirant. This is the kind of 2-drop that we'd like to have because it does ramp us into all our 4-mana cards. And 2 3 for 2 is a pretty decent thing to have. Savagery has synergy with like a lot of Druid cards, but the only thing we have that gives us an extra attack other than our power is the Savage Combatant. So we don't have a lot of the cards that like work well with Savagery. So we're gonna be happy with this card. I'm interested to see how this deck works out. I feel like it's not doing any one thing very well, but I think the Raven Idols are gonna do a lot to give us like options. They're gonna help us fill our curve out in places that we might not have anything for. And I think we did pick up like a decent amount of early game. This is not a very aggressive deck, but our curve is pretty, like we have some pretty strong stuff later in the game. The things we're going to look for with these are 2-drops or dragons or mechs, because we have cards that these want us to have other mechs around, and Blackwing Corruptor wants us to have a dragon in hand. So if we have one of those cards in hand, we will consider setting it up with Raven Idol if possible. And I think we should, assuming we survive into the late game, I think we should have a pretty easy time closing it out because we've got some pretty heavy hitters here. So I don't think this is a 12-win deck. I don't think it's like really even close to that because we're just going to stumble, on our development at some point and just get overrun. But the games that we do manage to curve out and survive, I think we're going to be a favorite in those. So I will be back in just a minute with some more games.